We do a lot of Veterans Day ceremonies like this, and we also minister to senior adult ministry groups at various churches and things throughout Tennessee and other states. So again, we just thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We hope you enjoy the program. I know Tina has worked very hard on putting together a very nice program for you.
Thank you very much, Holly and Lee, for that. Very inspiring music. Good morning. My name is Joe Foster. I am the Antioch class of 1979. I'm born and raised right here in Nashville, grew up in Antioch. I too had a father and two uncles who served during World War I. And my oldest brother, Jim, who's here today, served in the Air Force as well. So I'm very proud to be here and honored to participate in this ceremony. So without further ado, I'm going to begin calling out the names of known living alumni. And what I'd like to ask is that when I call your name, please stand. And the audience in general, please hold your applause until the end. And then we can celebrate them with our applause. J. Gary Adcox, class of 78. Fred Anderson, class of 67. Jim Baker, class of 67. Rick Barnes, class of 67. Votan Battizi, class of 67. Russell Beals, class of 60. Mitchell Begley, class of 71. William Bellenfant, class of 67. David Benjamin, class of 85. John Benoil, Jr., class of 64. Jerry Bowers, class of 63. Larry Boyce, class of 77. Troy Bradley, class of 89. Billy Brent, class of 59. Bobby Bristol, class of 67. Charles Brownlee, Jr., class of 65. Joseph Brunson, class of 66. Bill Burton, class of 67. Brad Bush, class of 85. Rex Butner, class of 71. Donald Kerrigan, class of 65. Catherine Biles Carter, of 60. Larry Cartwright, class of 65. David Cathy, class of 80. Michael Ray Chance, class of 65. Ferris Harper Clenard, class of 65. Donna Cole, class of 65. Ron Cole, class of 63. Clarence Tony Couch, class of 85. William David Cox, class of 68. Dorothy Parham Crowder, class of 85. Rex Davenport, Jr., class of 82. Dan Day, class of 77. Kenneth Dye, class of 66. Bill Eads, class of 58. Joe Edgens, class of 64. Darrell Irwin, class of 85. Jason Fisher, class of 95. Don Forcom, class of 63. Raymond Foster, Jr., class of 65. Jimmy Foster, class of 64. Randall Fowler, class of 69. Hank Fry, class of 65. William Fry, class of 60. Fred Thomas Gillen, class of 65. Charles Glover, class of 66. George Gordon, class of 63. Ron Green, class of 64. Beverly Fuqua Grugan, class of 85. David Hale, class of 76. Steve Hale, class of 78. Kevin Hand, class of 76. Paul Hartman, class of 70. Harvey Hess, class of 66. Mickey Hyder, class of 67. Jim Hodge, class of 65. Charles Hood, class of 65. Jack Hooper, class of 65. Harry Hubble, class of 65. Diana Hughes, class of 85. Glenn Husky, class of 67. Doug Inman, class of 85. Jimmy Jack, class of 68. Ennis Jordan, class of 65. Bill Judson, class of 75. Carol Biles Kimbrough, class of 60. Jerry Kirby, class of 68. Bill Clamer, class of 58. John Lamb Jr., class of 85. David Lawson, class of 73. Ray Leonard, class of 76. Roy Leonard, class of 76. Elliot Lewis, class of 60. Jerry Looney, class of 64. William Madden, class of 65. Ansel Mangrum, class of 83. Mike Marlowe, class of 79. Wayne Marshall, class of 61. Joseph McCormick, class of 66. Wade McMackins, class of 62. Larry Milliken, class of 65. Jerry Mitchell, class of 59. Phil Mitchell, class of 76. John Morgan, class of 60. Thomas Neal, class of 65. Ron Neely, class of 84. Eddie Nichols, class of 63. Patrick O'Rourke, class of 85. Rodney Painter, class of 65. Charles Park, class of 64. James Parker, class of 61. Bill Perry, class of 65. Scott Peters, class of 85. Robert Lewis Pollard, class of 65. Michael Powell, class of 76. Renee Preston, class of 86. Harold Reeves, class of 58. Billy Reeves, class of 64. Brent Ring, class of 85. Curtis Rogers, class of 71. Denny Schaefer, class of 60. Greg Simpson, class of 67. William Singleton, class of 82. Gary Southern, class of 66. Ollie Blaine Stewart, class of 65. Eric Sullivan, class of 85. Morris Sullivan, class of 80. Paul Vieira, class of 67. Philip Wallace, class of 65. Michael Webb, class of 65. Mike, class of 60. Dayton Wright Jr., class of 65. Mike Yarlett Sr., class of 76. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to stand and give your applause for these men and women who serve our country so graciously. I was also just informed that David Wood, class of 62, has just arrived, or is here. We didn't have him on the list. We apologize for that. Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to ask Holly and Lee to come back up on the stage for some more musical enjoyment.
Throughout the years, thousands of soldiers served in the armed forces in protection of our land, our freedoms, and our lives. Your service and commitment to our country should not be taken for granted. So veterans, I have a special word for you today. It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us the right to assemble just as we are here today. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the freedom of a fair trial. And it is the veteran, not the politicians, who has given us the right to vote. So, veterans, this next medley of songs we are dedicating to you today, we have prepared a special Armed Forces medley. And so we ask that when we come to the song that represents the branch in which you served, please feel free to stand up, hoot, holler, cheer, whatever you want to do. This is truly the time for your celebration, so everybody can, clap along and keep up with this. This is for you, veterans. The Army. Over hill, over dale, we will hit the dusty trail as those caissons rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, and they're marching all about, and those caissons go rolling along. Then it's high, high key, and the field artillery, count out your numbers loud and strong. And wherever you go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. The Navy. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college shores, we sail at break of day, now our last night on shore. Hail to the foe, until we meet once harbors, wish you a happy voyage home. The Coast Guard. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell, to claim our victory. Semper Paratus is our guide, our friend, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. Hey, Coast Guard, we're all for you. The Marines.
Semper Fi.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles on the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Yes! Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, Jimmy to me the thunder, and the boys giving the gun. And we dive, spouting our flag under, off with one terrible roar. We live in vain, we'll go down in flame, for nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Thank you so much. Thank you to our veterans.
Thank you again, Holly and Lee. At this time, I'm going to call out the names of our deceased classmates who were in the military. What I'd like to ask is that any family members that are here representing these fallen servicemen and women to please stand, and at the end, we'll have a round of applause for these people as well. Mike Amick, class of 66. H.F. Baker, class of 35. Paul Baker, class of 35. Michael Beeman, class of 61. Franklin Bell, class of 65. Larry Boyd, class of 64. Timothy Carter, class of 82. Charles Butch Cooper, class of 67.
You're up.
Mike Donegan, class of 65. Ron Dunn, class of 61. James Tilden Ezel, class of 41. Barnett Gamble, class of 66. Charles Galden, who was a member of the faculty and head football coach here at Antioch. Durward Hall, class of 57. Billy Hazard, class of 64. Bob Jarrett, class of 71. Charles Reese Johnson, class of 36. Michael Mayo, class of 67. Stanley MacArthur, class of 57. James McCandless, class of 41. Jerry McCormick, class of 55. Bill McGill, class of 65. Jimmy Mitchell, class of 55. Ron Pace, class of 67. John Wallace Painter, class of 36. Carolyn Reasonover, class of 41. John, class of 67. Cheryl Sr., class of 70. Walter Smithson, who and Best. Charles Stewart Jr., class of 65. Jerry Wetzel, a member of the faculty and the director of the marching band. Donnie Wheeler, class of 55. And Charles Wilkerson, who quit school to join the military during World War II. Everyone please rise and give these fallen servicemen. Please be seated. At this time, we're going to ask the honor guard to re-enter.
For those who are able, please rise for the playing of taps. Thank you. You may all be seated.